I think, it's been about half an hour.
You've got videos?
Oh, yeah.
No, just alarm people do that.
No. I'm now live, so whenever you walk in front of me,
Are you on? I've got it. That's quite good.
And so we've got an intro with Floyd. So the Floyd stuff is video.
Yeah. So we'll do the intro video, which is as everyone's seated, and they actually have attention on you, and then you'll do what you need to do with
two videos.
Yeah.
Two videos.
Well, because it's the Nick.
Yeah, Nick, and then
the final word, and then Nick's have a bit more video.
Yeah.
After the final word, there's a toast.
Yeah.
And after the memorial video, there's a minute of silence.
Okay.
And then the rest is down to you.
Followed by a tribute video, 1 minute silence. Yeah. So basically, after the two videos, we had the minute silence. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going mad, am I? It's two videos, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm ready when you.
Yeah, no problem.
Paul Lawrence is going to act on behalf of that. It'll be like and Lee's coming later over here about 10 people.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Towcester management, on behalf of Star Sports and Orchestrate Limited, the warmest of welcomes to the start of the greatest week of the entire year if you're a Greyhound fan, and also if you're connected to one of the finalists in what will be an extraordinary occasion here on Saturday, one of the best sporting occasions of the entire year. It is the English Greyhound Derby final. There is a slight twist this year, of course. Ian Fortune clearly wasn't available this afternoon. He maybe should have been standing here instead of me, because we have that extraordinary situation at the weekend, quite magnificent achievement of 6 Irish trained greyhounds going for gold. It has never happened before. I know it's mentioned that it almost happened last year, but ultimately it was the UK Greyhound Droopy's Plunge who came out with the famous trophy. This year, we know the trophy's going back to Ireland, across the Irish Sea, and it will be a 7th win in 11 years, and 3 extraordinary trainers who provide the 6 finalists. And of course, we await Liam's arrival, Liam Dowling. I think they're on their way, been held up in traffic. There's no question their greyhounds have not been held up at all in the last 6 weeks or so. They've been absolutely magnificent en route to the final. Paul Hennessy, Susan representing Paul and the family this afternoon. Fantastic to see Susan. And of course, Pat Buckley as well. Pat back over in Ireland, Emma back over in Ireland. Maybe the connections will be here. If not, we've got plenty of people we're going to cheer on, no doubt, Hackney Corner. So Pat Buckley, Paul Hennessy and Liam Dowling, you take an absolute bow. But it's been a tough year, no question about that. If you love your greyhound racing and the sport, and you've followed it for years, the names Nick Sava, Bob Morton, Linda Mullins will resonate, certainly when it comes to the Derby. You know, what Nick did for English Derby successes, for Scottish Derby successes, Mr. Westmead himself, the incomparable Westmead Hawke, those run of 3 English derbies with the Lord and Hawke twice. Prior to that, of course, Tom's the Best, who did something that no greyhound has done before. Won an Irish derby and then an English derby. Extraordinary times and magnificent achievement. And we lost Nick this year, and incredibly, just 3 days later, we lost Bob Morton. You couldn't write a story like that. No one wanted to write a story like that, but we all, especially the media present, had to write that story, and it was very tough. And delighted to say that the family of Nick Savva, his daughters Nicola and Lisa, are here with us this afternoon. Bob, of course, we know, is again, so connected. His best mate had passed. Bob wasn't a well man, clearly, as we now know. We didn't know at the time. But of course, they shared so many fantastic times and great achievements, from the devastation of special account for one or two of the younger members here. You maybe have to look back at the history books and how unlucky he was at White City, and then they came back and gloriously, those 3 best of British successes, ending up in Madame Tussauds, of course. The hall prior to that was Tom's the Best, with Eddie Shotton and Nick on their own. And then the passing of Linda Mullins, which, unless you were very close to John and David, I certainly wasn't aware. I mean, we know that she was of an age, but wasn't aware that her time was about to come. And again, that was extraordinary. I think the Daily Telegraph described her as a trailblazer. And you think back, those 5 champion trainer titles, followed by 2 of another Linda Jones. And of course, there's a connection here in the room today. But Linda Mullins, she did trailblaze. And then you dig a little bit deeper, and people like Jim would go back to Lacquer Champion in 1978. And Pat Mullins is down as the trainer, her husband. So John and David, successful trainers in their own right. Their mother was a champion trainer 5 times. Their father was a Derby-winning trainer. Extraordinary. And then you dig a little bit deeper and you find out Hobbsy wasn't Pat really that trained the Derby winner. It was really Linda who trained the Derby winner, because you know how successful she was moving on. And then you realise that you kept her in high esteem, and then actually we should have kept her even higher esteem, because to all intents and purposes, the family won the Derby, but you can credit Linda Mullins perhaps as a Derby-winning trainer, perhaps maybe as we haven't done in recent years. So we didn't want to be here to remember Nick Savva and Bob Morton and Linda Mullins, but we're going to do that because this is the Greyhound Derby. We're Greyhound people, and these are trailblazers and hugely successful and much missed. So without further ado, I think we have Michael's my director today. So we've got a couple of videos. I think the first one is put together by Floyd Amphlett in memory of Nick Savva.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a fabulous Derby lunch. I've been to several over the years, and trust me, they're always memorable. I start by thanking Kim and Ben at Star Sports for giving me this opportunity to just remember my dear friend Nick Savva, who of course passed away in April of this year. Like many of you, Nick spent years pursuing an English Derby, going back to the late 1960s, early 1970s, and he came particularly close with special account back in around about 1982, 83. But it was finally 1998 before he finally got his hands on the Derby trophy with Tom's the Best. As fabulous as it was, and of course Tom then went on to win the Irish Derby, there was an itch that Nick needed to scratch, because he was primarily a breeder and he really wanted to breed an English Derby winner. By the time we got to the millennium, things weren't looking great. His final serious attempt was with Sonic Flight, who reached the final and was beaten in a race won by Rapid Ranger. At that stage, Nick's famous Damn Line had just about run its course, and things then got worse in 2002 when he relinquished his licence following a disagreement with the NGRC. Eventually, as some of you will know, Bob Morton, without telling Nick, decided to pay the fine, and Nick reluctantly agreed to take out his training licence once again. His first winner was the Puppy Open at Henlow, and the pup was, of course, a certain Westmead Hawk, who, again, was the son of Hamlet Flake. Within 4 months, Hawk had actually achieved Nick's lifetime ambition and won an English derby. He then, of course, went on to win a second, and then half-brother Westmead Lord won the following year. And Hawk also signed a couple of derby winners, something which again would have given Nick considerable pleasure. I'll just go back to that first derby final win with Hawk, because I have no doubt if you had to choose one particular night in Nick's entire career that he would look back on as the absolute pinnacle, it would have probably been that one. I've made my way to see him. I've been anticipating this for such a long time, and made my way to find him straight after the race. And I had various quotations and wise words about endurance and sticking at it and various other things to basically make me sound very profound and wise. And as soon as I saw him, the only thing that came out of my mouth was, "You've only fucking done it." We had a huge hug, and it was a very special evening. That's the end of my brother. I'll conclude by wishing you all the very best for Saturday. May your dogs all come off sound, and asking that you pay special attention to a forthcoming video that the Lawrence brothers have produced about Nick. It's absolutely stunning. I've watched it probably 10 times. Loved every second of it. And finally, all we can do is raise a glass to Nick Stafford. To Nick.
Thank you to Floyd. He's got a fantastic view there. Not as nice a view as that we've got this afternoon, I can tell you that. And of course, I think Floyd wrote a book all about Nick Savern, fantastic one it was as well. But he's absolutely right to touch upon the work of the Lawrence brothers. And we're great with Mr. Dave Lawrence, former Sky Sports producer, in the house. And believe it or not, he's been around the world about 3 or 4 times since, since retiring. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But he's now following Curaçao. So Curaçao played in Scotland at the weekend, a kind of World Cup, sort of pre-World Cup friendly. So if you're watching Curaçao in the World Cup, and you might just spot Clive Lawrence in the house as well. So there you go. So the Lawrence boys, do you mind just standing up? Do you just want to see your faces? These are the Sky Sports and Racing Post Greyhound TV guys. And what you're about to see, and I'd forgotten about this, and you know, but we did the Westmead Dynasty doc a good few years ago now, and I still didn't have dark hair. It was extraordinary. And I watched it once again. I thought, oh my God, you know. So I'm just so delighted we got a chance to watch this again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. The work of the Lawrence boys. This is very much the Westmead Dynasty.
We get their experience, you couldn't benefit this.
Oh, that was tough. Not as tough for me as it was for these ladies here. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicola and Lisa Sava, could you please stand up? And delighted to have you with us today, and proud of Dad and proud of Granddad. I'm absolutely sure of that. So extraordinary scenes, and well done to those guys. I'd forgotten that. It was just incredible and brought back some very, very special memories, I have to say. I think before we ask Ben to join us, I think, are we allowed to have a break from tradition? We were going to have a minute's silence. Kim? I'd rather a minute's applause, wouldn't you? I think that's far nicer. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Nick Sava, for Bob Morton, and for Linda Mullins as well, let's put our hands together for a minute. Thank you. Right. Now, before we celebrate the achievements of, help me Jim, County Tipperary, County Kilkenny, and County Kerry. An extraordinary achievement that is, and we will have the draw for the £125,000 for the winner. Star Sports and Orchestrate Limited English Greyhound Derby imminently. We're still waiting for Liam. He will be here. So Ben's speech, you were, I think, due for about 5 minutes. Can you do about 20? Is that all right? Ladies and gentlemen, the boss of Star Sports, a passionate greyhound racing man, and if I'm not mistaken, now a sponsor of the English Greyhound Derby for 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Ben Keith.
Wow. I've stood before our family and made a speech every year. This is for the 10th time. It's an honour and it's a privilege, but never ever have I stood on a foundation which has been delivered by Jonathan Hobbs, Floyd Amphlett, and looking at these dynasties, these careers which are foundations of why we're all here today and the footsteps that we would dream to follow in, carry on and recreate. I want to really, really sincerely thank so many people here today on behalf of all of us The videos put together there by the Lawrences and Floyd and Kim were absolutely immaculate. Thank you very much. My condolences to the ladies here today. Thank you. I can't remember a time that this is a very, very difficult time in our industry and our sport, and we have everything coming at us. But I can never, ever remember a year when we, as a family, have come together as close as this year to really, really shine to our community and actually to the rest of the world and introduce people to their first Greyhound Derby, which is, of course, the one that we all remember best. Arriving at Towcester this year, Mike Davis and Richard Thomas have made everybody aware that there is certainly a new broom, and I mean, wow, I came in and I mean, watch and learn Royal Ascot. The track is absolutely immaculate as a stadium, and I can only presume that it's been absolutely immaculate on the track because I haven't heard one word of moaning. Obviously no praise, Mike, but don't expect any of that. But can we have a round of applause, and well deserved, for Mike Davis. We've had a fascinating derby this year, with it really being a sort of new track itself, and with the traps, and the story has unfolded in front of us, and we've had new trainers emerge, we've had new dogs emerge, haven't we? And our story goes on again, and this year's derby is another book in itself. And when I look around this room, I see the people who make the sport what it is, people with passion, care, love, and people who are in greyhound racing to compete, and I salute and thank every single one of you. It goes without saying that I wish everybody the best of luck in Saturday's big race, and it's going to be really open, and I just hope all the dogs. It's not a cliche. I mean, it's so important now for all of us and for the dogs themselves that we just have a trouble-free race, and you know, the best dog will win. However, each year I like to recognise somebody who has put a huge amount into our sport and community and invested much of their life and made a huge difference to all of us. This year I have a NAP and an NB. It went to a photo finish, and I'm afraid the NB is Ryan barking mad. I'm sure that he will win it's not an award, but I must say something, that we must embrace the future. We must reminisce about the future, not the past. We have so many heroes to come, and when you watch videos like the one that we saw that was produced there, these people like Bob Morton, they're watching on, and they want us to, and Nick Sava, and they want us to not be like them. They want us to be the best versions of ourselves, and that's what we're going to be, and we're going to compete together on the highest level, right? But we have to promote ourselves, and I think that people can study journalism, they can study broadcasting, they can put themselves forward, but occasionally a precocious, a tenacious, a relentless, a resilient talent will appear, and I think that person is Ryan, and I ask that everybody accommodates him, enables him, and pushes him forward wherever they can, because whenever you see his videos go viral and they break that mold and you go, wow, that had 150,000 views, not 10,000 views, that's 140,000 more people who he's educating. Ryan there are so many important people in this room, and Ryan is one of them, and I hope that everybody will get behind him. So well done, Ryan. The person I'd like to thank most, though, this year is somebody who's not here, but I hope that she will see this video. I think that so often communities, organisations, great successes, they're really built on unsung heroes. You can't have superstars like Westmead Hawke or, hugely charismatic Rab McNairs or incredibly competitive people without people in the background as stability, who are consistently there making things happen and doing the necessary. In English, we only have one word for love. In Spanish and other languages, there are many, many different words for different types of love. And when I meet this lady, she exudes love for the Greyhounds. And this is a love for them when they're puppies, when they're racing, and most importantly, when they retire. Because as we know that Philip's here today, and it's Philip and Mark Bird who are continually under pressure, and they have to keep saying again and again and again that every single dog is looked after and microchipped and followed until they pass when they're off the track. But there's very, very important people needed to do that and find these dogs the homes and the right homes. And Livy Noble is at the front of that, and her care and love and passion for greyhounds is something that I've never ever seen before. So this year I'd like to salute Livy Noble. Can we have a round of applause for her, please? Anyway, let's get on with eating a fantastic lunch that I'm sure that Mike's produced for us all, and I shall hand you back to the maestro. But thank you very much. What a fantastic derby we've had, and let's just lift the roof on Saturday night.
Thank you, Ben. Well, just before we commence with the draw, we are just going to get a little bit of a taste of what's to come. We've got another video to celebrate everything about the Star Sports and Orchestrate Limited English Greyhound Derby. Let's go.
The English Greyhound Derby, an event so dear, a race we cherish year after year. 1927, the Derby first ran. Almost a century has passed since it began. Towcester has seen heroes emerge with paws swift and strong, a thrilling atmosphere filled with passion and song. Tears shed over missed wins, dreams shattered in defeat, but the hope to win the derby never seemed to retreat. The tracks are set, the track is clear. The roar from the crowd was all you could hear. Each greyhound heart beating as the Lynchman rise. The thrill of the race lighting their eyes. But in the end, only one can be crowned. The remaining brave to come now. All that remains is for that one to be found.
So welcome once again. Do we go straight into the draw, or do you want me to do the charity draw? The trap draw, absolutely. Welcome to Team Dowling. Liam, Helen, thank you for, I know you've had a tough journey here. No, you can stay there for a minute. Your time will definitely come, my friend. No, thank you. You missed this, eulogising about the success of you guys. Irish dominated final, of course, but what you have achieved this year has been quite sensational. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrated Paul and we celebrated Pat, Davy Sutton's in the house as well. Hackney Corners fan club is just one here. I don't know whether they're all in the pub, Davy, or I know that obviously Emma and Pat are back in Ireland. But ladies and gentlemen, celebrate the achievements of Team Dowling, please. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we will make the draw for the 2026 Star Sports and Orchestrate Limited English Greyhound Derby. £125,000 to the winner, overseen, I think, by Phil McComish. Phil, you must be in the house, yeah? Hopefully, and Duncan Gibson, of course, of the Greyhound board, also part of that draw to oversee it. Ben Keith of Star Sports will be making the draw. We know it's an all-Ireland final. One wide runner, Lenny's Tank, will go automatically into trap 6. Ballymac, De Niro, Hackney Corner, the middle runners. And then we have the railers, which are, of course, Ballymac, Duffel, Lenny's Eddie, and Ballymac, Ralph. Duncan Gibson, Chief Senior Stipendiary Steward of the GBGB, will put the runners into the drum. How's this going to work then, Duncan? What are we doing?
We put all 6 in for a change because we've got three railers, 2 middles, and 1 wide. The wide will be in trap 6, obviously. We do as we draw them out, if the 2 middles come out, the first middle seed will go in trap 4, the second middle seed will go in trap 5.
Okay. Right, Ben, over to you.
Had some pressure before. I know that there's a lot of people looking for red here, so don't give them a twist first. I got accused of looking in. Ballymac Duffel.
So Ballymac Duffel will run out of trap 1.
Take back there for the pork pies.
Trained and bred by Liam Dowling, running out of trap 1, the first of his 3 runners, his 3 finalists. Ballymac Ralph will run out of trap 2. Litter Brothers then side by side. Ballymac Duffel in 1, Ballymac Ralph in 2.
Lenny's Tank.
The sole seeded runner, Lenny's Tank for Lee Craze and Paul Hennessy into trap 6.
Hackney Corner.
So Hackney Corner will go into trap 4 for the Hackney Boys Syndicate, Pat Buckley. I think we're Ballymac De Niro going into trap 5 as the other middle seed. And Lenny's Eddie, of course, going into trap 3. The draw has been made then for the Star Sports and Orchestrate Limited English Greyhound Derby, the 2026 running. It is an all-Irish final over 500 metres at Towcester Racecourse on Saturday, June the 6th. Epsom Derby Day, Towcester Derby Day. It's a double Derby Day. Ballymac Duffel representing County Kerry, running out of trap 1. His little brother, Ballymac Ralph, also representing County Kerry, and his breeder, Liam Dowling, his trainer, his owner, trap 2. Lenny's Eddie running out of Trap 3, the first of Paul Hennis's 2 runners, both owned by Lee Craze, Lenny's Eddie, running out of Trap 3. Hackney Corner, running out of Trap 4 for the Hackney Boys Syndicate and Pat Buckley. Ballymac De Niro, the third of Liam Dowling's trio, running out of Trap 5. The team Dowling, should say, County Tipperary, represented by Hackney Corner, certainly by the Buckleys, and Lenny's Tank in Trap 6 completes the lineup. The County Kilkenny second representative, Lenny's Tank, running out of Trap 6, once again trained by Paul Hennessy, and of course once again owned by Lee Craze. So in terms of previous derbies, we know these trainers have been there, seen it and done it, in terms of Liam Dowling famously with Delardy 2 years ago. Go back to Vic, must be 12, 13 years ago. You must have bred Ballymac Russo as well. That was also in the final. Plenty of finalists in between. We must be into double figures now. Guy, you're a young man, you can tot them all up for us. But of course, famously, Delardy won for Liam 2 years ago. What about the Hennessy's? JT Jet at Wimbledon, the last of the Wimbledon derbies. And then at Nottingham as well, Priceless Blake. 2016, certainly, Jet was. We remember that famously, just a year before Towcester's first, the 2017 derby here. So 2 derbies for Team Hennessy. They would love to win a third at Towcester. And we will get Susan's thoughts on whether that will happen in due course. And then Pat Buckley. You go back to Minor Net at Wimbledon. I remember being there for that final. But of course, then famously, Dearjet Sydney at Nottingham won the first English derby for Team Buckley, and they've all won Irish derbies, countless classic champions amongst them. So we'll have a chat with, I think, the trainers now. Is that probably right? We're going to do the charity. Let's do the charity draw. So you can just hold fire for a little bit, have 1 or 2 drinks. Right, where's Carly? Carly, come over and join us here. We're going to just make a draw for the rehoming support, Greyhound Derby rehoming support prize draw. All the homing centres, not just here in the UK, but in Ireland as well, set to benefit from this. And a number of the homing centres are set to win some various prizes. Claire Conley helping us. Hello. How are you, Claire? Okay? Very well, okay. Some fantastic work done by the likes of Livy Noble and Carly.
Absolutely fantastic work. Yeah, brilliant.
And there's an auction going on, greyhoundtrader.com. So you can get involved, goes live, I think, at 2 o'clock this afternoon. There's plenty of information here, which I shall impart. Right, so the draw for the homing centres, just about to begin. Carly, you going to do the honours, yeah? You can do it, go for it. So the first one is a £500 JR Racing Jack Russell, I think just cash prize, yeah? And this will go, courtesy of Jack Russell, Maxine Lott's Kennel, to the Durham District Retired Greyhounds. I'll leave that for you to put down. Dave Gray at Pelor Grange, you'd be delighted with that. £500 cash going to the Durham District. Kennel Supplies pre-market products, donated by Patrick and Cheryl Jansons, will be going to Greyhounds, Swindon and beyond. Thank you. Thank you to Patrick as well, last year's Derby champion. 2 winners split between them. Right, a pallet of maintenance time fees. Willie Rigney doing the honours there and donating to, and this will go to the Humber Retired Greyhounds. So well done to those guys, and thanks again to Time for their support. Courtesy of Star Sports for Kim and Ben for Derby final entry tickets. Oh, there's one more, sorry, go for it. For Time, yeah, another. So more time fee going to Retired Greyhound South Lakes. So thank you once again. 2 tickets there. So 4 Derby final tickets will be going to Ashwell Greyhound Kennels. Miles down south. Down Romford Way. Essex Way. They're Romford, yeah. 20 bags of maintenance, once again donated by Time Greyhound Superstore. And that's another Romford RGOA. Okay, thanks to Steve Rayner. 4 more to go. Unique Hounds have donated natural dog treats. courtesy of Connor Davey, which will go to Barley Kennels. Okay, thank you. Celebration at Dunstall Park to celebrate 100 years of greyhound racing, 2 centenary tickets, 24th of July. That's a Friday night. 6 races goes to the Dun Running Rehoming Kennels. Thank you. Kennel Coach Scottish Greyhound Supplies. 2 more to go. To the Lincolnshire Greyhound Trust. And vitamins and supplements from Greyhound and Whippet Shop. Dave? And that will go, and that's it. To Greyhounds going home. Okay? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was the draw for the Greyhound Derby Rehoming support. Thank you to Claire, thank you to Carly, and of course, as Ben mentioned, some great work from Livy Noble. And just to reiterate, at 2 o'clock today online, greyhoundtrader.com, you can auction or certainly bid for lots from the Dunphy Kennel, the March 26 Blue Bitch King Shearer and Drupy's Lorry, from the Kennedy Kennel, August 25, Blue Bitch, Epic Ace and Good Arminta. From the Dowling Kennel, thank you, March 26, Black Dog, Delardy Dart and Ballymac Sahara, and Townview Kennels, January 26, Black Dog, Broadstrand, Sid and Wide Open. And bids can be taken or placed from 2 o'clock this afternoon. So thank you to the Dunphys, thank you to the Kennedys, thank you to the Dowlings, and thank you to the Matthewses. That's thegreyhoundtrader.com. Right, so to Saturday's big race, £125,000 to the winner. How are we going to do this? I think it's just, we start off with Liam, we'll have a chat then with Susan, and then we'll finish up with Davey. Is that okay? And PL, perhaps both of you can come up. Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to put your hands together for a man who has 3 finalists this year, Liam Dowling. Liam, tremendous achievement. I think you started out with just an overview of how things have gone. I think they've gone pretty well.
Well, when you finish up here with 3 in the final, you must have done, we've done okay. We've done okay. Look, we set out with a journey of 8 dogs. Decent dogs. We knew coming about decent dogs, and probably what we knew more was that a lot of the dogs would stay the distance for Towcester. So with that in mind, that was the clutch we picked, and we've done okay. So look, it's nice to be here. Fantastic. Sponsorship again by Ben and the crew. And look, the track, to be fair to Mike Davis and company, immaculate. Surfers, I would have to say, not running better, but definitely at the peak. And I think you've seen that this year with the times and with the performance racing. I think it's been superb. So I think everyone is appreciative of that.
And you've been well looked after by Peter and the crew?
As usual, you know, it's hard to keep a kind of a serious face in that camp, but at the same time, a brilliant horse. You're made relaxed, the dogs are relaxed, and that's half the battle.
Let's dig deep into the finalists then. We start with Ballymac Duffel. Did you want track 1?
Well, somebody asked me that last night, and I said I'd want to see the Duffel dog inside our other dog, which has happened. So of that, you'd have to be happy with that, yeah. And they both the brothers are precocious sorts. I mean, runner-up in the Juvenile Classic himself. He's always been a greyhound who's got plenty of speed. His performances have been absolutely top-notch, and I thought, certainly in the semi-finals, when he didn't have the greatest of draws, he battled hard to just get through. Yeah, look, to be fair to the dog, he's probably divided a small tad of really early pace, but I think he's well drawn there. You know, look, Derby final night is Derby final night, and you know there's going to be a massive occasion, and will every dog manage it? We don't know, but they're pups, they're 2 years old this month or just last month. But he's quite a laid-back dog. He's well drawn, as far as I'm concerned. He's well drawn. That's where he wants to be, because he's like to always come to the left. But he's where he is, and he's a dog that, as you know, powers home. So if he can get a run, stays on his feet at the bend, you know, he's going to figure it at some stage, I think.
And they all trialled in so quickly, and Duffel was no different to that. I mean, it was almost as if they were born for this place.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to be appreciative of the day now. The day we came for trials, I'd be the first man to say that track was super. top of, it wasn't top game. So, if they didn't do reasonable times, you'd be disappointed. But when you walk on the track like that, what it is. And so we know at home that them dogs can run. So there was no hiding place there. But the times were probably first time round, they were very, very good times, to be fair about it. But the surfers, I think, would have to hand that to the staff there,
And I think right from the start, sub 28 seconds at Limerick, you knew you had something on your hands anyway.
Yeah, well, sure, you wouldn't be going to them tracks with them dogs unless they can run a bit. And it was all about getting experience into them, because I suppose this was the long-term plan to come to Towcester. And the more track change and travelling, handled by different staff, it's just all the build up to the dogs. And they could show that at home at an early age, and they've progressed, and they're still progressing. And you would hope that they'd be learning a bit as they go along the way, like ourselves.
Always difficult to compare the three, but can we just compare the two brothers for now? Ballymac Ralph, running out of trap too, how do they compare?
Well, coming here, you would say that Duffer was probably the faster dog, but to be fair, I mean, if you look at the performance of the other dog, Ralph, last weekend at here on a super race to even get into the final, very, very similar. He's a tidier dog. He's a 32 kilos dog. Very little between them, but as regards determination and effort, and they give it that all. They're both very, 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 very capable dogs, growing, learning, and I would say they're enjoying the ride.
Would it be fair to say that Duffel was quicker to hand than Ballymac Ralph? Just seeing what Ralph did in the semi-finals, he seems to be just getting better. He's so strong up the home straight.
Yeah, but you have to, every race is different. All the group of dogs around you is different. You're playing with early pace, slow pace, and bumps, and that track whenever when you go to the bend, staying on your feet and just get a normal run. But I wouldn't think there's a whole pile between the two dogs, if I was being honest about it.
Let's throw Ballymac Dinero into the mix. And I think, anyone who saw his kind of last to first finish, when was that sort of quite earlier on in the competition, you knew that we've got pretty much a star on our hands, but he's also shown that he can go off the front, and boy, did he do that at the weekend. Yeah,
look, again, he won the juvenile in three, in I think it was 3-round competition this year, won the first round, beat in the semi-final, and won the final. And I think that's proved to be a good yardstick for the rest of the competition down through the years. A dog, I think that's probably slower coming to the hand than the two fawn dogs, if I was to be honest about it. Very laid-back dog, and nice touch of early. Seems to be getting used to the traps and trapping well in the last 2 rounds anyway. So if he can do that once more, we'd be delighted.
It's never a blessing in disguise, but didn't have any luck at all, did he, at Limerick? He took a tumble there. I mean, would that have given him, I don't know, even more of an edge coming into it? Or was it a blessing in disguise in terms of how he's prepared it and handled Towcester or not?
Yeah, look, you take him to these tracks to get experience. And I was at home that night on the telly, and I just blessed myself and I saw him going to the bin. But to be fair to the dog, when you're watching dogs that you rear and you're watching them every step they take, but if you watch that race carefully, I think there was a dog on his outside stepped in, and he actually stepped in again, and they went to the bin together and they just got tangled. But when he rolled over, I kind of turned around and waited for the camera to go around, but he finished, and that was the bonus. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I suppose the answer is that if he had less racing there in terms of Limerick, I mean, is there more to come? I mean, 28, one spot off the clock on Saturday.
Yeah, look, you'd like to think there is. I suppose the one thing that's in his favour, to be fair about him, he's a very laid-back dog. He's still quite puppish, but in a way I'm contradicting myself, because he's just a kind of a gentleman when you're parading him, and he knows the score. The crowd don't do nothing for him, and he's focused on his job. We want him to do that one more night, but he's got a future. He's got a future. Whether it happens next Saturday night or not, we've got to wait and see.
And just an overview of the derby itself. You've been here many, many times. You obviously won it with the La-di-da, which realised an ambition of yours, and we know. So there's less pressure. You enjoying it more?
Yeah, it's probably more relaxed because when you come and broke your duck, it's just makes things a bit easier. But and when you do that, you want to come and do it again. But at the same time, it's a pretty difficult enough thing to do. And when you put just 8 dogs in a van and come across to this country and yourself and your wife, and it's a long period. We're here for I think 6 or 7 weeks, and you know she's probably very lucky that I'm a very patient guy to live with her for this long. But at the same time,
Do you want to respond to that, Helen?
but it's testing, and look, big thank you to all the crew at home, and obviously to Peter, because you know if you're not relaxed in a place and you can just kind of study your own job, you're not. It's not going to happen for you. But the lads at home obviously are probably under a little bit more pressure, but at the same time, I think they're enjoying it. And
You've got the Irish Oaks going on at the moment as well.
yeah, we have. We've 3 or 4 left in it. I think going all right. I think from what I hear, and. But it's nice to see that it's happening. It's nice to see that it's happening that way. And I suppose, you know, it just takes quite a few years to get this thing up and running. But, you know, when you do that, there's a sense of achievement in it.
And that sense of achievement, I mean, in terms of, I think Ian Fortune, we were joking today that when Ian turns around and says that he doesn't know how he feels about the fact that there's 6 Irish trained runners. I mean, what do you feel about that?
Well, listen, there's 6 Irish trained runners, but there's 2 English-owned runners, and let's not forget that. But and good luck to Lee Craze and good luck to everybody else and Pat and the groups and the Hennessy's. Look, it's just delighted to be here. 6 Irish trained dogs, 6. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's the English Derby. The English come across to take on the Irish Derby. It's a healthy situation, and that's the way that's finished up this year.
And there's obviously rivalry, it's sport, and sport wouldn't be anything without rivalry. But is there, are we going to see on Saturday that the County Kerry flag, the County Tip flag, the Kilkenny flag? Will we? I mean, is there, you're fighting for Kerry here, aren't you?
Yeah, you are, of course, as always, since arriving in that. And when you go to Limerick or Dublin and take on the rest of the crew, you know, you're there to defend yourself. But
you've beaten the English.
We've beaten the English, maybe we have it, but I think the English are great sports people, and to be fair, they're very welcoming every year you come here, and there's a great sense of unity to have the Derby and a beautiful place to have it. But you know, there's a friendly rivalry there, which is brilliant, you know, and everybody wishes everybody else well, and you walk away, it's all over, it's on to the next task, and away we go again.
So we're going to lose on Saturday, you're going to be back again, and you're going to go again. Why is there hesitation, Liam?
There's a hesitation, I suppose, because, you know, the old bones are getting weaker and things like that. So whether the young crew are going to come and maybe that will happen and we might come for a lesser period, but that's the only reason for hesitation. I think other than that, we will be aiming that we will be coming back with somebody next year anyway.
It's a magnificent achievement, I have to say, and I'm delighted for you after having stood here on many, many occasions until Dillardy-Dar that you realised that ambition. You won an English Derby and you've got 3 runners in the final, which is just amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ballymacks and to Liam and Helen Dowling, congratulations and good luck on Saturday. Thank you.
Highlights of each of those dogs. You'll just get them in, so we'll go with Duffel first.
Yeah. Now a chance to just, I think this should have come before the interviews, but me and a microphone, you know. Here we go with Ballymac Duffel.
Do one now, and if you wish to have the next run in Ralph while she gets Ralph ready, and then for the last week you can do it video first or whatever you want to do.
McDuffel is in form, and away we go. Ballymac Duffel, one of the same, flew out straight over to the rails for Ballymac Duffel, flies round that first bit. 3 can't get a run, crowding round the first bit. It's Ballymac Duffel out in front from Get Up the Boy. Then comes 3, 6 and 5 as we head into the 3rd turn. And Ballymac Duffel, Get Up the Boy is in 2nd. Then comes the 3 Garbetti Warriors. They come around the final bit, and Ballymac Duffel is out to impress again this evening. Ballymac Duffel was flown all the way round Towcester today.
It's walked out, 2 and 3 leading up to 6, 4, 5. Now we're going to see on 1 what he's going to do now. Because 3 Sentinels on the running ahead of 3, 2, 1, 4, and 5. What's got nowhere to go down that far side? He's got to move. Down the far side, 6 cents of iron in front, he'll be scored. 4, here comes the double dog, he might check again. Then 5 and 2, running lots for back to go. It's still 6 cents with 3. Double's trying to get the body inside, 6 cents to iron in front here. By that double's going well run. Is he doing it? The answer is 5 fail, and that's 4.
Yeah. It's over, and we're racing in 2 gets away into a flying star once again. Scooby the Lady leads into the first bend. It's the Blue Jack in the lead. Force wide, and it's 1 being past the second bend. Soul Focus trying to really trap 2. Scooby the Lady then clear of 5 and 4. It's Scooby the Lady for Richard Reese leading around the 3rd and 4 turns. The Play champion still in charge off the last turn. She's flying in front. 2 from 1 and 5 and 4 trying to qualify behind 2.
Nice favourite this evening. They're off and racing at 3 epic games has missed the kick totally. In the first turn we go, and running back De Niro got us the first turn now. Augusti blusting down the back straight. In second is there, then is Eddie. Then back to 4, Ballymac Doffel. Then we then go to 3, Epic Ace has got a mountain to climb. And then the front it is Ballymac De Niro. That bright orange jacket there for Liam Dowling. Up to the wall we go, and it's Ballymac De Niro.
So Bunny approaches and away we go. We're still well Adams hit the box to lead up. Here comes Noelle. 2's on the inside, got a good split. Bunny back round. With 5, 1, 6 is struggling. Aero Pumpkin down the far side they go. And it's 3 still around him. Has got the pace of the race at the moment. 5 coming out for Price's Romeo. Got 2 running back round. Again back to the remainder as they come off the final bend. This trap 5 here. Price's Romeo is keep behind here. 2 in second. In comes 3. Here comes Bunny back round. Romeo's holding on from round here all time. Romeo's beat.
Missed it. Colours of green has tracked out well. From Romeo Ability at the inside, Ballymac Ralph, but Sentinel out deep on the track. 3, 2, 1, 4, 6. 5 at the back, Malcolm Bosch after a darling start. Ballymac Ralph has hit the front now, goes clear. Colours of green in second place. With Sentinel at the inside of Carragoon Milo, swinging for home, and Ballymac Ralph is in the clear here from Colours of green, who started brightly, but it's Ballymac Ralph cracking them.
Andy Corner just ahead of Ralph as the favourite. Racing on Ralph's absolutely back out to lead up with Hackney Corner. Then we got 1, 3, 4 and 6. We've got race on the hands and down the far side they go. It's Ballymac Ralph who's on the bunny here from Hackney Corner. 1 on the inside, Soul Focus. 3, 4 and 6. But at the moment, Ballymac Ralph enjoying himself out his front before. About 3 legs clear. Hackney Corner in second. Then we got 1 to come off the final bend. There's still Ballymac Ralph who's holding on here. 2 legs clear of Hackney Corner. Another impressive performance. He's running away here as Ralph. Ballymac Ralph is brought to by It's an hour away to a starting guitar from trap 5. Get up the board. Now the pace coming from Hackney Corner into the first bend. Who bursts clear, and Hackney Corner goes round. The black jacket in front from 5, which he get up the board. 2, Strike His Sky close. 3, 6 at the back marker 1. Strike His Sky, putting pressure on Hackney Corner. At third end, inside line, that goes on, and Strike His Sky hits the front now. From Hackney Corner and trap 3, going back around, and Strike His Sky going on to land as spoils in the 420.
Semi-final and the 6th, their biggest tank is the break. Hackney Corner has got the blood towards the turn there, just about clear there from Raris. Down the back straight we go, and it is that 5. Hackney Corner there for Matt Buckley. Leads there from Robert Harris, of course. End of the year last year, approaching the final turn in 5. Hackney Corner, been there from Flagfall. Now beginning to pull them to the sword, and Hackney Corner with a very close finish. There we go, racing. 4 paces up, 1 to try and get there with 2, 3, 5 and 6. 4 Salika's Lockup's going to get the run of the race. He goes out in front. Aladdin tries to get through on the inside and moves beautifully. 2 back in third, Strike It Sky. Then 5, 6 and 3. Down the far side they go. Drewby's Aladdin, who's in the front. Here comes Strike It Sky. Right his shoulder 4. De Niro tries to stay on as well with 6 and 3. They come off the final bend here. Drewby's Aladdin. The Sky's in the front now. Then we got De Niro on the right hand side. Strike It Sky. This is impressive. 2's went for 5. 1 back in third. 2, 5, 1.
The Towcester lids open and they get away to a start. 2 and 4, the first to show. Lenny Teddy on the inside, but Manny McDonero piles into the first bend in front, takes it up off the second and goes on. 4 leads from 2, 6, 3, 1. And the back marker 5 down the fast side. It's trap 4. Manny McDonero. Lenny Teddy giving chasing behind trap 6. Lenny's back making ground, but it is Liam Downing, Manny McDonero in front of the last bend. Lenny Teddy giving chasing behind. 4's going to beat 2 into the central cross favourite this evening. They're off and racing, and 3 Epic Gators missed the kick totally. In the first turn we go with Ballymac De Niro. De Niro got us the first turn now. Looking down the back straight, in second is there Lenny's Eddie. Then back to 4 Ballymac Doppel. Then we go to 3 Epic Gators. Got a mountain to climb. And up the front it is Ballymac De Niro. That bright orange jacket there for Liam Dowling. Up to the wire we go, it is Ballymac De Niro there from the
We've never had so many VTs. I think that just underlines the success of the Ballymac team in 2026. So well done to Duffel, Ralph and De Niro. Right, without further ado, let's have a chat to... We have got UK interest this year, you know. Lee Craze, can you join us up here? But of course, wife of trainer Paul, Susan Hennessy. Susan, Lee, join us here. Thanks for flying the flag, Lee. Top man. Right. I suppose the first question is, before talk sort of overview, is the draw. I mean, look, you knew you with Tank, you're sorted, but what about Eddie?
We were just happy to be here. We'd take any trap. I spoke to Jim before the draw, and he said, "What trap would you like?" I said, "Just happy to be there." So we're happy.
You're happy, and you, Lee?
Yeah, very happy. Yeah, great.
How do you see the race going?
You know, I think Tank's Tank. You know, he's come this far really well, and Eddie in 3's great. So it's a great draw for us. So good draw for all of them, but we're very happy.
I spoke to Paul on Saturday. I think he was kind of happy with how the campaign was going. I think I didn't speak to him afterwards. I imagine he was even happier afterwards. How do you think it's gone?
Oh, look, it's fantastic. We came over with 6, where it's a dream to get 1 to the final. When you start off on a 6-round competition, your aim is to get there. Just even to get 1 to qualify. To have got 2, it's just a dream come true. And you don't take anything for granted. It's wonderful to get here. The thrills, the spills, it's a wonderful occasion, and we're just privileged to be here.
Did you come with high hopes?
We actually did. It was our youngest team ever. We've never brought 6. We were chuffed that we actually had 6 Derby dogs to bring over. And they were a younger bunch. But we had high hopes. I will admit that. But having high hopes and getting there is 2 different things. We're just, they ran fantastic, and we're very proud of them. And they ran game, they took the hits, they took the spills, and they lived to tell the tale. And we're in the final now, and we're going to enjoy it.
Let's start with Eddie. I mean, you've said already they are young dogs, so they've not had a lot of racing in Ireland anyway, and I think that was the case with Eddie.
He was especially young. We had started him for the Conanani Kirby in Limerick, and he got knocked out, and we were devastated. And Kevin said, actually, this isn't a bad thing. We put him aside now. We're going to aim him for Towcester. And he's a precocious youngster. He has only got a couple of races under his belt before we even brought him over here. Ideally, this would have been his preparation for next year. We did that with JT Jet. But he's shown stamina. He's shown resilience. He's very precocious youngster. If you've seen him on parade, he doesn't walk. He's like a springbok. He hits the ground in spots. He's loving it here. He loves his racing, and he's doing everything. He has determination. He will drive that bend. He sees nothing else. He just wants to get on with it, go with it. And he's testament to his breeders, the Kennedys. You know, they're incredible to have two bred dogs. We're just privileged, and it's wonderful. And this man here has stepped in and bought them, and it's great.
I was going to touch upon that. I mean, I suppose they had no luck on Saturday with Epic Ace, but they got something in the final. That sounds with you guys.
Absolutely. I mean, it's testament to them. They had 3 dogs in the semi-finals. They had the track record breaker. It didn't happen for them, and that's dog racing. Things don't always go to spec. You might think, oh, this will break and that'll go round. That doesn't happen. In an ideal world, it happens, but not in dog racing. You put them into the traps, and anything can happen. But I think it's an incredible achievement for the Kennedys to have had 3 homebred dogs, and fantastic.
So you could say that Eddie's learnt the game maybe at Towcester with those 2 trial stakes victories. Tank's slightly different to that. You know, he's been in top competitions, runner-up in the Easter Cup. So he came in this as a little bit wiser, not quite the word, but more mature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he had more miles on the clock. He was that little bit older. Tank is in our kennel has always had a reputation. He is a character. He's Tank by name and Tank by nature. He's an extremely lovable dog. He loves life, and he's great early. And what he's showing us here is he is coming home. He's taken it. It's not going to plan for him, but he's still plugging. He's battling, and I couldn't be more proud of a dog. For him to have got up to qualify on Saturday night, I was like a proud mother. I just couldn't believe it, and I was so proud for him because he puts in such an effort, and a lovely dog in every way, personality, character, running style. He's Tank, and I'm very proud of the 2 of them.
I'm going to ask Lee the same question. He's an Irish national sprint semi-finalist, runner-up in the Easter Cup. He's probably due a break. Where do you sit with this trap 6 situation that seems to have got a lot of press, even though we've 2 trap 5? I'm going to ask PL about this, but 2 trap 5s won the semi-finals. But how do you sit with this business about 6?
It's fine. I'm glad to be in it. It's an honour. He's in trap 6. It's lids go up, come out, just show what you can do. It's a derby final. Testament to every dog that has ran through 5 rounds, and the grueling rounds. You have to do everything right every night. You have to take the hits, the spills. Some nights it doesn't go your way, and I think that's the true sign of a dog when they can battle back, get up. It's fine when the lids come out up and you're out and you're around the first bend. That's great. We all have fast dogs, but it's the dogs that can miss the break, take the hits, get the bumps, and still battle on and show their grit and determination. And I think the 6 finalists have shown all of that, and I'm extremely proud and privileged to have 2 of them.
Excellent. I have one last word with you. Just shuffle along. I know that Michael wants us, rightly so, to have the branding. I'm going to come this side and shuffle you on that side. Sorry, I'm going to come around this side, Lee. Here you go. That's it. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble, Steve. No, there you go. I'm sure this has been asked of you before, but who is Lenny?
So I've actually got 2 grandsons. One's called Lenny and one's called Eddie. So when we first started with the dogs with Paul and Susan 3 years ago, Susan, Kevin said, you should really have the first name, and we picked Lenny. So we got
that's your prefix. Right?
Yeah, that's the prefix. And then my second grandson's called Eddie. So that's why we got Lenny's Eddie.
Does that mean you're going to be cheering on Lenny's Eddie more than Lenny's Tank on Saturday?
Well, both the boys are coming so they can cheer what they like. I mean, Lenny loves it. He's been to Ireland, hasn't he? He loves it, loves the trophies. He always asks how much we're going to win, Grandad, how much we're going to win. And he has bets as well. So, we'll see. They'll both be here.
And how did you guys all get together?
I first had a dog 42 years ago when I was 15 years old at White City, and I'm 62. And I used to work at White City with my grandfather and father were bookmakers. That's when I first met Ben Keith. I think Ben was 12 years old, Ben. But
He was on the pitch, yeah?
no, he used to come up from Brighton, and there was a famous dog bookmaker called Tony Morris. Most people would have heard of Tony Morris. I'm a complete legend. And I think Ben done a project. Is that right, Ben? On Tony. So I brought a dog with Tony back. No, actually, that was my first dog with a trainer called Tommy Foster. Right, Voland Prince. He was a graded dog. He won a few races, and then go on a few more years, and we had another dog, me, Tony, and John Coleman, called Up to Date, and he came home with us. And then a few years ago, through some of my horses, I met John Turner, and he said, "Do you fancy some dogs again?" And I did at the time, and also I had some dogs with Simon. We had a couple of dogs in Swindon, didn't we, Simon? And then I met. And then we crossed paths with the Hennessy's, and I mean, life's just completely changed.
You're very well connected, Manly.
So we brought.
How many names? I'm just picking them all up.
We brought the first two dogs, JT Craze, JT Etienne. I mean, there was a tragedy with Etienne here, but we'll move on from them. We won the Maiden Derby, didn't we? And then away we get. So my life is most weekends I'm in Ireland, yeah? Yeah, go to Shelburne, we've been everywhere. We've had, I mean, it's amazing.
And I presume the horses are with Fergal?
Horses are with Fergal, but with Paul as well.
Paul as well, of course, right, absolutely, yeah. Leading racehorse trainer as well as a greyhound trainer, absolutely.
Paul Hennessy is the only man to have a festival horse winner with Heaven Help Us. So we now own, me and Susan own Heaven Help Us, and she's had two foals. And he's also won all the derbies. That will never be done again. It's impossible. There's no man will ever do that. So it's a massive privilege to be involved with everybody, but especially these guys.
I mean, that's one of the big stories, I think, when Paul has a derby finalist that, you know, obviously we latch on to that because it is very unique as well. But also unique is the fact that you're from this part of the world this year, which is kind of, you know, which is good. I suppose in the Irish-dominated Greyhound Derby, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's very proud as well. And it, you know, we won't block it, but we won't. With that trophy, won't be going back to Kilkenny.
Right. Okay. Well, look, that's fantastic. I mean, just a final word then, Susan. Just an overview. I mean, you've obviously got great memories of Nottingham, but I should imagine even fonder memories of Wimbledon, and I think Paul was one of the first people I spoke to when we heard the sad passing of Nick, and he I think he summed up his thoughts about Nick, and they were absolutely spot on. He was very much an inspiration, he said, to you guys.
Absolutely. Sure. What more can you say about Nick Sava? He was the pinnacle of the sport over here. Such a breeder, a trainer, an owner, and in actual fact, I only thought of it today. Our Kevin, when he was 16, 17, we sent Kevin over to learn the trade with Nick Sava, and Kevin has such fond memories, and he was such a gentleman. He was such a lovely man to look after him. We sent him over for a couple of weeks, and he came back, and to this day he still talks about him. He had such an influence on him, but he was such a gentleman, and his accolades, what he achieved in greyhound racing, it's there for everybody to aim to, and we're right to be so proud to applaud him today and his achievements. It's a wonderful legacy, and a testament to the British trainers. Wonderful all around, and we're just privileged that we had that small, tiny connection, but we did always fear him when he did come over for the Derby. We gave him the respect he deserved, and he did, and it was lovely to have that interaction between Ireland and England, and there is that. It's a rivalry, but it's also a great healthy competition between two, and we're all in the same game. None of us have any secrets or anything else. It's in the lap of the gods, but it's wonderful just to have the competition, to have the connection, and to have that unity amongst, everybody is in the one game. We know, you have your highs, you have your lows, and it was testament to, and it was a lovely accolade today to the gentleman that Nick Sava.
Well said, Susan. Thanks. Thank you very much. The Greyhound family, Ben, you talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, Good luck to Lee Craze, to Paul and Susan Hennessy and the family, and of course to County Kilkenny, Lenny's Eddie and Lenny's Tank.
And to Kerry and Tip.
And to Kerry and to Tip. Yeah, okay. Right. Let's go.
Racing away, Alan Foden got a good start. There's one at goal at the inside, racing Lenny's Eddie. That's the Royal PJ Jump. Bit of crowd in there, and underground goal got moved down the back. Lenny's Eddie second, racing third, Alan Foden behind his Lenny's Legend at the back of the field. Wengard, Fallon, and PJ Jump into the turn for home. It's underground goal from Lenny's Eddie, racing third, Ballymac Odin. Down the lane they come, it's underground goal in front from Lenny's Eddie. Underground.
Favourite just. Lenny's Eddie in the way we go there, and it's four in the box, all starting to lead up. Lenny's Eddie trying to put over six on the outside here, Lenny the Tank. He might get the run of the race on the outside, the big six gone. Now the fast now they go, it's Lenny's Tank, but here comes the two. Lenny's Eddie, four back in third, short style, five closest down, good up the five, at the back is Lenny Jim Bomb, around the ultimate bang. It is still Lenny's Eddie who's landed in front here, leading up five, get up the five, running the storm in second, and we got Lenny the Tank, three, four, to line again. Lenny's Eddie out in front of the money, and Lenny's Eddie's running from five in second, six. Let's hope the lid's open and they get away to a start and 2 and 4. The first to show, Lenny's Eddie on the inside, but Bang Bang passes into the first bend in front, takes it up off the second, goes on. 4 leads from 2, 6, 3, 1. And the back line down the far side, it's track 4, Bang Bang Lenny's Eddie giving chase in behind track 6, Lenny's Tank making ground, but it is Liam Downing, Bang Bang in front of the last bend. Lenny's Eddie giving chase in behind, 4's going to be 2 into the semis.
Cross favourite this evening. They're off and racing. The 3 Epic Games has missed the kick totally. In the first turn we go, and bang, De Niro's got the first turn now. Lost it down to the back straight. In second is now Lenny's Eddie. Then back to 4, Ballymac double. Then we then go to the 3 Epic Games has got a mountain decline. And up the front it is Ballymac De Niro. That bright orange jacket there for Liam Dowling. Up to the wall we go. It is Ballymac De Niro there from
Vacant. Racing, 3 can out, only Bucko to lead up, Romeo Empire's got a split. Here comes the 420 Storm, 2 going to push him out of the way. It certainly is, and Romeo Empire goes on, but 6 got a lovely run here, Lenny's Tank. Lenny's Tank's out in front. Romeo Empire does stay, but Lenny's Tank's got 3 legs here on the 2. They come back to 3, 5 and 4, bouncing away for that wide place. And Lenny's Tank's in the run of the race here. We've not seen a 6 with a chance tonight, but this one's going to come over. Romeo Empire in second, 5 straight on really well. Story, but 6 Lenny's Tank as well.
And there are racing away for Ruby's Alana gets that break, but Lenny's Tank is up there on the outside. Racing third, Ruby's Graph with Ballymac Dave, Sophie Sons, and here's Window at the down the far side. Ruby's Alana taking away the top. Lenny's Tank on the outside, Ruby's Graph, Ruby's Alana going back, Lenny's Tank on the outside, playing with a run. Still there, Ruby's Graph, 5 and Graph, Ballymac Dave, Ruby's Alana, Ruby's Graph on the outside.
Just Lenny's Eddie and the go there. Start to lead up. Lenny's Eddie trying to put over 6 on the outside here. Lenny the Tank. He might get the run of the race on the outside. The big 6 gone. And down the far side they go. It's Lenny's Tank, but here comes the 2. Lenny's Eddie. 4 back in third, short style. 5 closest down. Get up the point. At the back is Lenny Jim Bomb around the balls for Lenny. It's still Lenny's Eddie who's landed in front here. Leading up 5. Get up the boy running a storm in second. And we've got Lenny the Tank. Draw the water line here. Lenny's Eddie out in front of the money. And Lenny Eddie.
The lid's open and they get away to a start and 2 and 4. The first to show, Lenny's Eddie on the inside, but Bang Bang arms into the first bend in front, takes it up off the second, goes on. 4 leads for 2, 6, 3, 1. And that marker 5 down the far side, track 4, Bang Bang De Niro. Lenny's Eddie getting chasing behind track 6, Lenny's Tank making ground, but it is Liam Downing, Bang Bang De Niro. In front of the last bend, 10 chasing behind 4,
Been there from Frankfurt. Now beginning to pull to the score. The Hackney corner with a very
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck to Lenny's tank. Right now, the Hackney boys are represented in the house by young Davey there. So thank you, Davey. But he's a very shy man. He says, "Obviously, you're not interviewing me today. I don't mind having my picture taken, but I ain't going anywhere near that microphone." So that's fine. That's absolutely fine with me. Not a problem. I think we've seen plenty of Hackney Corner on all the videos. It was sensational, I thought, on Saturday for Pat Buckley and the crew. Now, the message from Team Buckley, and we want to impart back across to Ireland, is Pat. Emma is down at June and Tony Harvey's at the moment with the dog, Hackney Corner, and he will be fed at 4 o'clock to come up here anyway. So it's just not possible. So she sends her apologies, but she's at pains to stress, and as part of the family, that they're huge thanks to Towcester and what they've achieved this year. It's been an amazing experience. I hope it gets better even on Saturday night for them, and they're proud, of course, to represent, I think I can say this in terms of County Tipperary, against their compatriots on Saturday. So I think a big round of applause for Hackney Corner and what he's been doing for the Hackney Boys Syndicate. And it's kind of saved me a little bit of a job, because I was going to kind of come round, but I'm sure you guys are all hungry. So we've got one more interview to do before we have lunch, and that's going to be with PL, who I was going to grab anyway, because he's the man who's been commentating on every single race of this year's Derby. Now, you've just been given a share in Hackney Corner, which is kind of handy, but let's just sum up the draw. In your eye, you've got a very shrewd eye, PL. Are they happy enough with that or not?
No, I think Hackney Corner will have a better chance drawn on the inside of De Niro. I think they're the two natural early pace types. Lenny's Eddie, and I can see this from Nottingham and Price's Flake, could easily go back from that draw. Lenny's Tank is another greyhound that we haven't actually seen him trap yet, and when we saw him in the Easter Cup, he showed all sorts of early speed, and it wouldn't be beyond the realms that he could buck the trend, if you like, because we haven't really seen too many trap six dogs flash out of trap six. But those two brothers in trap one and the track record holder in particular, Duffel, who I did put up as a value bet at the start of the proceedings.
Hats off.
Yeah, he's ideally berthed on the inside. I think he gets any run, even if Hackney Corner leads or Ballymac De Niro leads. Supporters of both those greyhounds will be looking to see where Duffel turns. And as much as I respect Ralph as well, because I think he's he got off the floor near 9 at the third turn in the semis and roared home. I think if he gets headed by his brother, then I don't really see him back running him.
I think it's all to play for. I mean, let's concentrate on just Hackney Corner for the minute. Some very, very fast runs in Ireland. Perhaps things haven't quite gone in competition, but he's probably shaping now as a much mature greyhound who's building up into a massive challenge. I mean, he was very impressive on Saturday. We saw that pace, I think, against Strike It Sky the previous round. He's coming to the boil nicely, don't you think?
Yeah, indeed. I've had quite a few conversations with Pat. He does ring me on a regular basis. That kind of associations at first started, we talked about, the Greyhound family. I remember Price's Blake winning the 2019 Nottingham Derby, because that's my local track, and I did commentate right the way through the heats, and they'd already organised Ian to commentate in the final. But my pleasure was commentating on the 2020 version, which was the COVID year, and I did all the commentaries from home, but the final was at the track, and it was an eerie place. It was a strange place. It was a unique Greyhound Derby, and the one man, it was really weird, because the betting area, there were loads of tables and chairs where they cleared out the in the bar area for all the connections to be there.
There was a marquee at the first bend, wasn't there? Or
That
something
was
like
in
that.
the 2019, yeah, but I'm talking about COVID. They separated everyone with everyone had masks on, but only one person. I had to commentate from a monitor downstairs, the one person that sat with me and had a chat, and there was no chats all night because of the social distancing, was Pat Buckley. He sat next to me, and we chatted and there was a connection. Ben speaks about Greyhound family, and that's where I gained a lot of respect for Pat Buckley on that occasion. And when you saw then him and his daughter Emma and that connection, and Lorraine had a big connection with her father. She lost her mother when she was really young. So she had a really big connection with her father. And I saw that same connection between Pat Buckley and Emma. And we've got a close association since. Pat knew I loved Ballymore already. He knew I loved him in 2022. He got knocked out, but throughout the derby, he invited us down to June Harvey's, where they stayed. We went twice. It's a long way for us to go, but we had such a crack and built up that kind of connection, I guess, with Pat.
So have you back Hackney Corner?
Down to Pat. Because he said he did an awesome run in Kilkenny in the lead up. He said, I've never seen the dog do the 16-15 and the sectional. I'm a bit of a stato nerd myself with times and stuff like that. But Pat has his own timing system in his gallop at home. And if Pat sees a dog do a certain time, then he can't get that out of his head. And Hackney Corner was that man. And it's almost like he believed in Hackney Corner. And that kind of belief went over to me, so I joined in. So yeah, he's my biggest winner, and I think Pat is a very shrewd man. He's very clever, and I'll tell you how clever he is. 2 weeks ago, he rang me on a Sunday. Bearing in mind, Saturday it's a big night. It takes a lot out of you. And I try and put a lot of effort into to getting the crowd going and giving a good commentary. Pat rung me on the Sunday morning. Lorraine always gets up early. Sunday morning for PL was probably a bit of a lazy day. And Pat said, you up? And I went, yeah, I'm up. Yeah. Oh, he said, so we're chatting away about the form and the dogs, and he had 3 in there at the time. And he said, yeah, so we finished the conversation. He said, it's 8, but it's about 9 o'clock. He said, I'm just about to have my lunch, he said. He said, get up, you lazy so-so. He knew. That's how clever Pat Buckley is. He knew I was still in bed. But, yeah.
So they've got a big chance on Saturday. Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, he's Star Sports' biggest loser, I think, Hackney Corner. And I remember being at the preview and someone, I won't say who it was, whispered in my ear, the fastest dog in Ireland, Hobbsy, is Hackney Corner. I didn't back it. And there's 5 other greyhounds against him who were pretty quick on Saturday. So, but he's building up into the competition. So, final word, they're all getting a little bit hungry.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think that's the important thing. You hit the nail right on the head. I think he just was a bit not quite the dog he was in the 3rd round and the quarterfinals, but he stepped up and he's come forward at the right time. He's drawn on the right side of a dog that I really respect in Ballymac De Niro. But he'll need to get clear to get loose of that man in track 1.
PL, commentator. Are you commentating on Saturday? What's happening? Yeah, okay. Is Fortune coming over, is he?
He's coming over.
He's coming over. He's in the bar. Right, good man. Ladies and gentlemen, James, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to all the guys and girls that have joined us here. We've got one final job to do, but I can tell you if you're on table 1, lunch is served. We're going to do it in table order. But can I have Liam and Helen and Lee and Susan and Davey up for a picture with Stevie Nash? Thank you. But table 1 for dinner, for lunch. Trophy and guys, is that all right? It's fine. Yeah, leave it on. Yeah, leave it on. No, that's good. That's fine. Yeah, I get it. Okay, it's not a problem.
Dave came over and he puts it and it walks away. I know.
Matters not. Once they get in the picture taken, you can, but don't worry too much about it. He's not even sorted himself out. There you go. That's it. Do you think so?